What's up, YouTube? Scott Kazan, the Balloon Man, is here again. And this isn't a balloon tutorial. This is a business advice video. This goes out to all the people that are trying to get a weekly restaurant gig. You know, like every Tuesday night is balloon night. Come see the Balloon Man from 6 to 8. So I'm here to tell you how to get a restaurant gig. First thing you need to know about a restaurant gig is that it truly is a commitment. You have to be there every Tuesday or every Wednesday. Yes, you could take a day off once in a while, but you really got to be there all the time to really build up clientele and to turn a slow restaurant into, you know, a pretty fun night where you get your regulars, kids that come in every week. So the first thing that you need to know is getting the gig, getting the job. There's a lot of ways to go about it. The best way that I know how to go about it is to, you know, don't be afraid to get turned down. You're going to get turned down. A lot of people and restaurant owners are only about one thing. They're only about the bottom line. They only care about, you know, their budget and how much their weekly, you know, overhead is and their profit margin. And that's like the first obstacle. That's the hardest thing, to convince the GM or owner that, listen, I could be a huge commodity in this place. It's going to be mutually beneficial. You're going to be busy. I'm going to be able to make a little money and hand out my cards, and it's a win-win. But the thing is, the way I do my business is definitely different than how most twisters do their business. There were two restaurants in particular. One that I've been at since October, another one that I just started about a month ago. The one on October is a corporate-type restaurant where they recruited me, and after 3 weeks of them recruiting me, they were like, you know, Scott, it's not working out. We're going to have to let you go. And I was like, hey, wait a second. Dude, you can't just quit after 3 weeks, okay? There's no way that I signed up to this place to quit after 3 weeks. So when you do get the restaurant gig, you got to make it very clear that it's a commitment. You got to truly give at least 6 months before you can then reevaluate on whether or not you want to move forward with the Balloon Man or decide that it's not working out. Because sometimes it just doesn't work out. You know, some restaurants you just can't turn around. So this Wednesday restaurant was very, very slow for a long time. And what I would do, because I'm a nice guy and I really don't care about the money I make at a restaurant, and the reason why I don't care about the money I make at a restaurant is because my friend, Robbie Furman, who's one of the most famous balloon guys around, he is amazing and he's an incredible businessman. He really is very business savvy. And what I love about him is that he shares so much of his personal wisdom and knowledge to anybody that, you know, asks him a question. So his whole theory is, do you want to work in restaurants to make money, or do you want to work in restaurants to book gigs? Like, what's the motivation of working in a restaurant? And the obvious answer is to book gigs. You know, because the money you make at a restaurant is going to be pennies on the dollar to the gigs that you're going to get out of the restaurant. So with that all being said, with me saying I was a nice guy about things, that would mean that if I charge, let's say, $100 for the night, and it's really slow, and like no kids come in, or like 2 or 3 kids come in, and it's just brutally slow, I'll give the restaurant a discount. I'll say, look, just give me $50 tonight. Just give me $40. Don't worry about it. Just get my free meal, chill out, do your thing, and that's it. You know, this way the restaurant sees that you're trying to work with them and you're not like there just to collect your, you know, your money. You're there to help the restaurant. And this way they kind of keep you around longer, because instead of just saying, man, $100 a week, I can't afford to pay this guy, they'll be like, okay, he's cutting me a deal, he's working with me here, you know, let's keep going. Now, something else that's really important is not just getting the restaurant gig, but turning the place around. This place in October, like I said, that I've been working at since October was dead, okay? No kids came in. But because no kids came in, it enabled me to make amazing designs that I left behind. And I'm going to try to add some photos of balloons I made at these restaurants, okay, to try to generate a buzz. And then the one thing that really, really worked is to get a poster, a big poster that they put in front of the restaurant or in the front door or somewhere that's extremely visible, where it clearly says, Wednesday night is balloon night at such and such restaurant. Kids get a free meal or a free cookie, and you get an amazing balloon by Scott Kazan, the Balloon Man. And you show your pictures of your work, and you make it like very big and bold, and that definitely helps to draw. And then, obviously, you know, to keep your regulars just be really, really, really awesome, because the regulars I have, I know their names, I'm very familiar with them, you know, their parents really like me, everything goes well, and most of my regulars, they come once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks, but it definitely, you know, it takes a while, and it takes a real commitment to the place. You can't just show up, make a few balloons, and expect it to get busy. That's not how it usually works, you know. So I really hope all this information works for you guys. The only other thing that I would recommend for you is that if you are going to look for a restaurant, look for a mom and pop restaurant. Do not try to get yourself a corporate gig like an Applebee's or, I don't know, Fridays or Chili's or whatever. Because even though they're fun, family-oriented restaurants, there's a lot of corporate red tape that you got to go. The GM has to talk to his boss, and that boss has to talk to his boss, and it's just really hard to land those gigs. And they really don't even want to pay that much. So it's just not worth it. And one more thing I want to add is I've heard stories where there'd be a balloon guy that would go into a restaurant where there's already another balloon guy there, and he would say, hey, listen, I'll work for less than what this balloon guy's working for. That is Bush League. Do not do that. That's unethical. That's not right. You wouldn't like it that if you landed your restaurant and you were getting the rate that you think you deserve, and then some new guy comes in trying to undercut you and, you know, boot you out of your own restaurant. That is not cool. So if there's other balloon artists or entertainers in restaurants, see if you can work an alternate night or just stay away from that restaurant, because it's just not right. You know, look for your own restaurants. All right? And then remember, say I want to speak to the GM. I'd like to make an appointment with you. I'd like to just, can I just have 5 minutes of your time? You know, and then that's at the point where you really got to sell them and see what you can do. The last piece of advice I can give you is, if you really are, like, what do you call it, ultra confident and very savvy, you can say, look, how about this? I'll give you the first 2 weeks for free, all right? If you don't like it, cool. If you like it, then we'll talk numbers, all right? Or you can even say, look, my rate will be this low for now, but if it gets busy in 4 months, I think, you know, we can evaluate it again. This way you don't commit to a price and then you're stuck with that price forever. You know what I mean? Especially if you turn the place around and make it a busy restaurant. And oh boy, I keep saying one last tip, but then I keep remembering things. When it comes to getting tips from your customers, my best recommendation is not to have a tip button. That can be a little pushy, in my opinion, but listen, depends on where you're located. In my area, New York, I don't know, it looks kind of too much. So it's not really about tips. If you get a tip, great. It's all about the gesture. If you don't get a tip, that's fine too. I would just recommend having a little dollar being shown out of your apron, your vest, your pocket, somewhere where there's a dollar that's visible so people can kind of get it. And again, it can be frustrating not to get a tip. I've been a waiter for years. It's, you know, it's not fun when you don't get a tip. But at the same time, that's not why you're there. You're there to hopefully book parties and get your salary from the restaurant as well as a free meal. All right, guys, I hope all this information works for you. Don't forget, shoot me a thumbs up. All right, thank you.